guys, Dina here. Thanks for joining me. Today I'm going to be featuring another stamp set that I illustrated for Gina K Designs. It's called Morning Blessings. It has 4 adorable little bunnies in various little poses and these beautiful sayings that can be used all year round with the bunnies and even without the bunnies. And it comes with a coordinating die set in the bundle set they have. It's not just for the bunnies though, the sentiments can be cut out with the die cuts. So it's really a fabulously fun set that you can use all year round for any occasion. So I'm stamping this little bunny who's holding her coffee cup in her little bunny slippers and the sentiment good morning, and I'm using Gina K's dye ink because I'm going to be coloring with some Copic markers. And I find this ink works really well. It won't bleed on me, especially if I don't oversaturate the paper. I'm actually stamping on marker paper, but you don't have to use marker paper. There's other options, like you could use Bristol board. It's a little less pricier. Or you could just use cardstock. It just really depends on the look you're going for. So I'm stamping this image and the sentiment twice just to get a good crisp image. And I pre-cut a panel with the stitching around it because I just love stitching. And I'm going to use the Masking Magic strips to cover my stitches because I don't want to lose the stitches. I'm going to do some ink blending and I don't want to lose those stitches. And it looks really nice with that white border. I think it does. Anyway, so I'm going to do all 4 sides with the Masking Magic. And then I'm going to use Gina K's Sea, Sun, and Sky stencil to start creating a background scene for my bunny. I'm going to start with the clouds and the sky and just lightly bring in some pink ink blending. I want to really get the formation of these beautiful clouds to create a look like it's sunrise. So my sky is going to be pink with a little bit of orange. I'm gently going around the edges. I want to leave some space in the center. I'm going to bring in some yellow, but I don't want to leave a lot of space because I don't want the sky to be yellow. I'm going to use some of the pink to turn it a very pretty orangey color. Sunrises are absolutely beautiful down here. And we get all colors in the sky, which is really fabulous. So this one is sweet corn. It's not a very bright yellow, which kind of works well with this because I don't want it too saturated. So I'm lightly blending the yellow in the center of my sky. I like to ink on the side on my glass block because I like to spray it afterwards and pick up some of that ink on some paper so I can use it for textured die cuts and things. So now I'm going to come back with my pink blending brush, and I didn't add any extra pink on it. I'm just using what's on the brush, and I'm slowly blending out the yellow to give it a little orangey feel. Okay, so I needed a little bit more pink there. I want to get a good blend. I want it to look like the sun is just disappearing into the pink sky. Okay, so I'm going to turn it around and I'm going to reposition my clouds So I look like I have a series of billowing morning clouds. A little bit more yellow. I want to make it a little bit more orange. Okay, and so now as I reposition, I want to reposition it so that the clouds kind of fit into each other. So I picked a spot and I just turned this stencil slightly. And with very little ink on the blending brush, I'm going to come in and just define the edge of the cloud. So now for the grass, I'm going to come in with some grass green. It's a really good green color. It's not very dark, but as you layer it, you can get darker tones. So you don't have to use a lot of different colors when you're ink blending. If you don't have certain colors, you can just use the same color sometimes and just go over it again and again. I will be adding a darker color shortly, but as I reposition this grass, I'm just going to use the same green, and you'll see that it gives another definition of another valley of grass with the exact same color. Now, if you've watched any of my other videos, you would know that I always say that when things are closer to you, they're darker. So that's why I started on the top. I wanted my first grass valley to be a little bit lighter. But I'm going to come in again because I didn't really like the shape of that too much. It just looked too uniform. So I'm going to come in again. I'm going to lightly blend another valley up top. And you can see it's not disturbing the other valleys. It's the bottom valley that just bothers me, so I'm going to come in with some darker ink now. This one is the Fresh Asparagus. This one's pretty dark. So as I blend this in, you'll see that bottom valley that is actually bothering me is going to disappear. As I darken the grass. And it really doesn't take much. And I left some texture in it, and the really, really nice thing about Gina's inks are that they just blend so well together. So even when they dry, they just they keep blending. They're beautiful. So I want to leave some masking magic tape on the side because I'm going to stamp a couple of whimsical flowers to help create my scene. I love these little flowers because they're just like they're free-handed. They're just so cute. Nothing perfect. They're just silly and whimsical, and they work so well with this little bunny. So I'm double inking just to get a good crisp image. I have to clean the stamp because I'm going to reposition it, and I don't want any marks in case I don't get it right the first time. But as you'll see, I'm trying to line up the petals sort of with the clouds so everything kind of fits together, and I don't have to worry about overlapping the ink with my ink blending. And of course I certainly could, but I liked it up against the white clouds. I felt like it gave much more contrast. And so I'm going to stamp the flower one more time, and this is why I needed the masking magic on the side of the panel. I didn't want to stamp it on the stitches. Give it one more pass with the ink. And now I'm going to fill in the petals with the coordinating stamp. Now the super cute thing about this stamp for the petals, I think it's cute, is because they don't fit exactly. So it adds to the whimsy of the flower. And it doesn't have to be perfect because it's whimsical. So you get it right every time, regardless of how you want to position your little petals. I decided to use a bluish color because I'm going to use a blue matte for my panel, and I just wanted to tie all the colors in together. Besides, it gives really good contrast up against the white clouds and the pink sky. You see, I've turned those petals so each one is going to look different than the other. Now this one, because I have the tape there, I want to be careful that I get enough of the petals showing. So it may be completely off the flower, but I want the petal to show, because once I pull that tape up, you're going to see I lose a bunch of that flower. Okay, so I pull the tape off, and it looks good. I like the way it looks. And now I put them off to the side because I had to leave room for my little bunny. So I cut another panel, and I'm just rubbing the edges with my bone folder, because sometimes when you cut things you get a little bit of the paper sticking up. So I rubbed it with my bone folder, and I'm going to be using this lattice embossing folder. It's so pretty, it's delicate, works really well with this card that I'm making. So I wanted to spritz the embossing folder so that when I go to run my cardstock through my embossing machine, it won't crack. It's pretty humid down here, and I don't always have that problem, but I do like a deeper impression. And sometimes if you go a little bit too deep, your paper can crack or it can even rip. So if you spritz it very lightly, not saturated or wet it too much, it works great. As you can see, I've got a nice deep embossed impression, and the paper is completely intact. So for the base of my card, I'm going to use a green piece of cardstock to coordinate with the green grass. Now it's time to color this little bunny. I'm going to use some warm grays because she's going to be white, but I need to, show some shadow and pull out some hair. So I'm going to use the warm grays for this. I don't use gray a lot, but if I'm going to be using it for an animal or a person, I will always try to use the warm grays. The cool grays are really got a lot of blue in them. They're beautiful. I love them too. But I don't normally put them on something that has life or that's breathing. So I'm just going around with this color to just set some shadows. I'm not going to do a lot because, like I said, she's going to be white. And so I'm just going to pull out some wisps of hair. With the warm grays. And I'm using the very lightest colors. The warm grays have some brown in them, so it kind of works well with a bunny. I didn't want to do too much pink because I've got pink in the clouds, but of course I'm going to make her outfit pink and her little cheeks pink. I like to carry the color between my images and the backgrounds to just have everything flow and come together and coordinate. It helps to bring your eye into the picture and you become more involved with the image. And I love to create scenes, and these little bunnies are so cute and able to very easily create scenes or just use by themselves. You don't have to create scenes. I just like to do that. So for the inside of her ears, I'm using a very pale pink. And I'm starting her cheeks as well with the pale pink. I always like to make big, ruddy cheeks. They're just so cute. And it just helps make her so much more expressive, I feel. And so I'm using a blend of these pinks for her ears. I usually use 3 colors. I start with the lightest color because I don't like really dark shadows. I like everything to stay a little bit lighter and softer. I certainly can appreciate anyone who creates images with however your style is. I can appreciate that. It's just not my style. I tend to stay more on the softer side when I'm coloring or creating. But I absolutely love big, bold cards, beautiful colors. I love all colors, really. People always ask me, what's your favorite color? I don't know that I really have a favorite color. I love all colors. And I try to create with most colors, but I always find myself leaning on a few different ones. She's starting to come to life, so now I'm going to work on her little outfit. I'm using a different pink for this. I want it to look different than the pink in her on her face and her ears. This one has more of a violet. The RVs are the red violets. And they're a little brighter than the pink I used for her face and her ears. And that little heart, I'm going to coordinate the heart with her little outfit. Because I'm not laying in a lot of color, and that's the other thing, with these bunnies, you can color them as much or as little as you want. You could make her fully brown or gray or whatever kind of color your bunny is, multicolored. I'm just doing this tutorial to show you that you don't have to add a lot of color if coloring's not your thing, but you want to design with these little bunnies. You don't have to lay in a lot of color to make it look super cute and create a beautiful card. So I'm just going through and just adding some shadows. Nothing scientific. I'm just trying to stay within the folds. This is a whimsical little cute cartoonish card. So I'm not striving for realism here. I'm just trying to pop the colors out and pop her outfit out and just have her stand out and make you smile. Make the recipient smile. Can't forget the little bunny noses on her bunny slippers. Went back with the darkest red color that we were using before with her cheeks and her ears. And for her happy, smiling, open mouth. Okay, so here I came back with a little bit of gray to pull out some shadows, but I absolutely did not like that I grabbed that color. I don't know why I did. I think it was just close by. But it bothered me. Even while I was doing it, it bothered me. So I went with it. But I'm going to recolor with a pink. I'm going to go over it with a pink and just kind of blend that out a little bit. I just didn't like how that gray added a different tone to my image and to her clothes. It just bothered me. So it's easy to fix. See, when you're doing things with light colors, it's very easy to fix. So now I'm coming in with my gel pen, and I'm adding a few little highlights, little freckles on her cheeks, and not much. Can't add much anyway because she's mostly white. But you just want to make things a little bit more noticeable, I guess. Or not even. A lot of times you don't even notice that. So I'm going to use my tape runner and I'm going to start putting my card together. I'm going to put my lattice on first up against my green card stock, which is an A2 card. I like that tape runner because I don't always get it right when I'm putting it down. And so it's very forgiving. It lets you reposition things for a little bit before it becomes permanent. So that wasn't too bad. And now I'm going to put my scene panel on this beautiful blue color. Also using the tape runner. And this one, I got it right the first time. Hallelujah. And you see how the flowers coordinate with that blue panel? Now I'm going to add some little dots to my flower petals just to make them look a little bit more whimsical. I think they're so super cute. And just adds a little texture and a little interest. So now I'm going to come in and I'm going to make some little grassies at the bottom where the stems are coming through the grass. So I didn't want them sitting out there just floating out of nowhere. So just adding little flicks here and there, nothing major. I'm going to start with my lighter color and come in again with my darker color. And with the darker color, it just kind of covers the bottom of the stem a little bit, so it makes a little more sense. And you don't have to make giant wisps. You can make itty bitty wisps. You can totally use a different color. You don't have to do it at all. But I just like to play around with the images, with the scenes. So now I'm just putting my panel onto the lattice. I could have used dimensional foam for this, but because I got a deep impression with the lattice, I didn't have to worry about destroying the impression at all when I put this down. It was sturdy enough to hold up. And so with my bunny, now it's time to put my bunny in. I'm going to use some foam tape because I want her to stand above the grass. I want to create some dimension here. I almost always put dimension in my cards anyway, but you want to cover them completely so that if you mail it out, she doesn't get messed up. So I have to position my sentiment first so I know where to put my little bunny. I'm going to stand her on a mound of grass closest to me, and I also added some dimensional tape to the sentiment as well. And now for some bling. I absolutely love bling. If you ever see any of my cards without bling, pretty much probably a squirrel just ran past my window because I must have got distracted and forgot. I absolutely love bling. So this one I believe is from Simon Says Stamp. I'll leave the links below for you. And I just added a few here and there. I like to stick with odd numbers. It just kind of helps with the design and helps with the flow of the image. So I'm going to put one in the middle of each little whimsical flower. And you can see I forgot to color the green petals, but I will do that afterwards. I just used the same colors I used for the wisps of grass and added a little bit of just a little bit of white highlight to it. And here I'm just adding and there it is. Little bling on a little bunny. Good morning. What a sweet card. We all should wake up so happy. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this video. If I've helped you at all, and I just appreciate you giving me a like and subscribing. And if you want to see more of my videos or any kind of videos you want me to do, just let me know in the comments and hit that notify button so you can see when I put up another one. Thanks for joining me, and I hope you have a great day.